everyone, and welcome to another episode of The Curious XX, a podcast where we celebrate brilliant and inspiring women who are carving remarkable paths in STEM. I'm Adya,
And I'm Dia.
and today we are pleased to have a marvelous guest with us, Ms. Seonmi Cho, Product Growth Analyst at Meta. Sonmi's journey in tech is nothing short of inspiring. She graduated from the University of Illinois Urbana-Champaign with a master's in computer science, after which she has built a career involving data science, machine learning, and product strategy. She has over 6 years of experience in product management and data science, having worked at leading companies like Samsung and Meta. In addition to her professional journey, she is an author and a speaker sharing insights and knowledge in data analysis, data science, and business strategies with students, professionals, and corporate audiences. I can't wait to dive into her story and her insights in computer science, a huge area of my interest.
Hi, nice to meet you. I'm Seonmi from California. I'm currently working as a product growth analyst at Meta. Nice to meet you guys.
You too, and we're really looking forward to this conversation. So to get started, can you tell us a little bit about your background, your family, where you grew up, and what really led you to the field of computer science?
Nice question. So, currently I'm working as a product growth analyst at Meta. I was born and raised in South Korea, and I moved to the US last year to pursue new career opportunities. I originally studied media communication during my undergraduate years and began my career as a product manager. Then later, I transitioned into a data scientist role, and along the way, I felt a strong desire to build a solid foundation in computer science. So that's what led me to pursue a master's degree in computer science. I wouldn't really describe myself as a software engineer. I'm more of a data professional, using data to uncover insights and guide business decisions. I really enjoy the work that I do, and I feel grateful to combine both of my analytical backgrounds and a strong technical foundation.
It's really interesting. I find that so amazing that you transitioned your career from media communications to tech so seamlessly. So, what sparked your interest in technology and programming in the first place? Was it a specific experience that you had, or was it an interest that you developed consistently over time?
So what first sparked my interest in tech was actually my very first experience coding in Python. I still remember writing a very simple program and being amazed that I could think through a problem, translate that logic into code, and then see how it comes to life on screen. It felt like solving a puzzle where the reward was watching my ideas turning into something real in a very short amount of time. As I explored further, I realized what excited me even more was applying that same logic to data. So I could analyze real world data sets, uncover patterns, and answer some meaningful business questions. And over time, the initial spark that I had through experiencing Python grew into a consistent passion for data science because it combines both of my creativity of building and the curiosity of finding insights. So to me, it's not just about writing code for analysis, but about driving impact and influencing business decisions.
Wow, that's such a beautiful journey that you described there of how your passion developed over time. So, moving to your education, can you describe what your experience was like at the University of Illinois, which is one of the most prestigious universities for computer science, and what were some of the most interesting classes that you took over there?
Great question. So overall, my time at UIUC was an incredible opportunity to me to dive into the state of the art technologies, especially in data science and also in large language models. One of the most interesting classes I took was IoT data science. So in this class, we worked with real world sensor data from wearables and smart home devices, analyzing patterns and extracting insights from those data. So up to that point, most of my experience and career experience have been analyzing business data sets, particularly in the e-commerce field. So exploring IoT data set was a completely new thing for me. But it allowed me to go beyond my original background and learn how data science can be applied in collaboration with sensor technology. For example, we learned how to predict where a user might be using the phone sensor data, and even how to simulate machine behavior based on the data streams coming from sensors. Another class that stood out was a graduate seminar on large language models, which is something like ChatGPT. So it was structured almost like a research workshop where we had to submit our final projects in the form of academic papers. So I conducted a full literature review, experimented with different architectures, and presented my findings in a formal research format. And it was very valuable because before that, I've never done anything related to research. And it closely mirrored the way both research and industry teams approach new AI challenges.
Wow, sounds so exciting. And I can't wait to, explore some topics like this at university myself. So after university, you started working at Meta as a product growth analyst. So for younger viewers who might not understand what this job role entails, would you be able to explain the role of a product growth analyst in simple terms?
So a product growth analyst is usually explained as a PM plus DS, which is a product manager plus a data scientist. So a product growth analyst at Meta usually focuses on helping products grow by using data to guide decisions. In simple terms, the role is about finding where the users get stuck or drop off, testing solutions like design changes or new features, and working with product teams to make sure more people not only try the product, but also keep using it. So, for example, keep using Facebook and Instagram and WhatsApp that Meta has. It's really a mix of analytics, experimentation, and product strategy, all aimed at driving adoption, retention, and engagement, which are the main metrics that our company is focusing on.
That's super cool. I think that made it really clear to me, at least like what your job role entails. And I think that's a helpful explanation. So what do you do on a day-to-day basis? Like what does your workday look like? And maybe you could mention some skills that you use the most in your role.
Great question. So on a day-to-day basis, I use all the skills, including technical coding, data analysis, problem solving, and communication, all in different ways depending on which project I'm on. For example, let's say I'm working on improving the onboarding experience, and I notice that a large portion of users are dropping off from our platform. The first thing I do would be start by writing SQL queries and running Python analyses to pinpoint exactly where the drop off is happening, which user segments are most affected, and whether there are clear behavioral patterns in the data. Based on that, I would develop hypotheses. For example, maybe the sign up flow is too long, or users don't understand the value proposition early enough. Then I share these insights with the product managers, designers, and engineers, and together we brainstorm solutions. Sometimes that means simplifying the flow, or other times it might mean testing a new feature. And then finally, I help design and evaluate A/B tests to measure the impact of the changes. So in practice, my role is like a continuous cycle, digging into data, framing the right problems, collaborating on solutions, and communicating the results to drive product decisions.
That's great. It really sounds like your role involves a lot of problem solving and systematic methods. So you spoke about how your role can be described as PM plus DS, and you worked in both data science and product roles. So how do you combine these two worlds, and how do you think that they complement each other in your job?
Mhm. I like to say that data science and product management or product side are two sides of the same coin. So for me, data science gave me the technical ability to extract insights and build models or run experiments, while the product side of me also gave me the context to ask the right questions and make those insights translate into actual meaningful user impact. So rather than treating them as like separate experiences, I think it really helped me throughout my career to merge both of the technical sides. Um, for example, data science helps me discover what's happening and why that's happening. And the product perspective helps me decide what to do about it and how to deliver it to the users. I'd like to give one example. So, for example, when I worked on a project analyzing user churn, which means that our users leave our website, my data science background helped me to build predictive models and quantify what risks we have but it was the product mindset that actually pushed me to go further than just the analyses to translate those findings into actionable design changes or retention strategies that the team could further implement.
I think that you explained that really well, how actually having that mindset of applying the knowledge that you get from the data um, is really what makes a good product. Um, so could you please share an exciting project that you've worked on, either at university or at a workplace that you're especially proud of that you would like to share today?
Mhm. One project I'd like to kind of steer towards the time at my studies at UIUC. So the project I would like to talk about is a capstone project that I did in UIUC, where I partnered with a leading construction machine company to build an AI system for machine fault detections. So construction machines generate a lot of sensor data and log data, and when something goes wrong, engineers have to act fast to prevent the downtime because the downtime means a lot of loss in money. So the goal of this project was to create an agentic workflow. Basically, this is multiple AI agents working together that could detect potential faults, analyze the machine data, and then pull in the right information for troubleshooting manuals to suggest what the engineer should do next. What made it very exciting was that it was about building something that could actually save the engineers time and reduce the cost delays. We use techniques like retrieval augmented generation, which is shortened as RAG, so that the AI could read through the technical manuals and then provide a tailored advice to the engineers, almost like a expert assistant sitting next to the operator. For me, it was very fascinating because I realized how the AI could actually be used to help heavy machines or to help these very costly business problems to stay safe and reliable.
Yeah, that's a really interesting use of your skills to maximize the efficiency at these companies. So today, words like AI, machine learning, and big data have sort of become buzzwords. But what do you think is the importance of studying computer science in today's world? And do you think it will continue to remain important in the future?
That's a great question. I think computer science is important because it teaches you how to solve problems in a structured way. So, words like AI, machine learning, or big data might sound like buzzwords, but at the core, they are all applications of fundamental computer science ideas and how to represent, like, for example, like how to represent information or how to process it efficiently and how to make decisions based on that. So, in today's world, nearly every field relies on computer to innovate and improve people's lives. So I believe that computer science will remain vital in the future because technology keeps evolving, but the foundation will always be needed.
I think that makes perfect sense. That, it's important to have that sort of foundation and understanding how systems work. So, we also thought that something that was super interesting was that you've taught a lot of students about AI and LLMs. So we were wondering if you could explain something about AI or LLMs to the general audience that you wish more people understood, something that's misunderstood generally.
Mhm. Great question. One thing I wish more young people understood is how quickly it changes. New models, tools, and applications are being released every month. And people who succeed in this space are not necessarily the ones who know everything, but the ones who are willing to experiment, adapt, and keep on learning in a very fast speed. So this can sometimes feel overwhelming, but it means that there's a lot of opportunity there. If you can keep on being curious and keep up with the trends, you can also be part of shaping the next wave of technology, even at a very young age. So the key is like, don't wait until you feel ready because the world is moving so fast that there is no way you will be ready. But start small, try projects, and learn as you go. So in AI, speed and adaptability are just as important as knowledge.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, in today's world, technology is just growing at an unprecedented pace, but just taking that leap and trying something can make a huge difference. So now shifting the topic to women in STEM, from your perspective, what do you think are some of the biggest barriers and the biggest reasons why young girls might be discouraged from pursuing computer science or tech-related fields?
I don't think I'm a perfect representative of computer science because I don't come from a full computer science background or engineering background. But if I think about my field, which is data science, I think one of the biggest barriers for young people is the misconception that DS is only about being like a math or stats genius or spending all day building models. So that image can kind of feel intimidating and discourage people who might actually enjoy the creative and collaborative side of the field. Another barrier is the fear of failure. So technology moves so quickly that it's impossible to know everything, but many students feel that they need to be perfect before they even start. So that pressure can maybe stop them from trying out new projects or even exploring the field. What I wish more students knew in data science is really about curiosity and persistence. So you don't have to get everything right at the first time, but experimenting, making mistakes, and learning from them is the part of the process. And because the field is so broad, there's always space for many different strengths, whether that's problem solving, design, data, or communication.
Yeah, definitely. Um, we've also worked in both Korean and American environments. So, do you think there was a difference in how women in STEM were perceived in these two environments?
I think I was lucky enough that I personally never defined myself as a woman in STEM because I couldn't really feel the difference with other men in STEM. So I would define myself as a person in tech field. So I would like to kind of talk more about the different cultural styles. But I will also like to point it out that these days I think it is way better for women to work in the tech field, which is just a thing that I want to point out. So going on to the different cultural style in Korea, I think collaboration often happened in a more structured, hierarchical way, while in US, the culture encourages more open debate and individual ownerships. Neither is like better nor worse, it's just different, but they just shape how teams communicate and make decisions. So keeping the hierarchical structure in mind will help me a lot in getting adapted in each companies. What I've learned is that adapting to differences is the real strength. So in Korea, I learned how to navigate structured environments and respect the group dynamics, while in US, I'm still trying to build confidence and voicing my ideas directly and driving discussions forward.
I think what you mentioned about the difference in the workplaces totally makes sense. And also, earlier you mentioned that, technology is such an evolving field, and you need to constantly keep up with the changes. But technology often also involves like solving tiny, tiny problems in maybe the code or something like that. So it takes a lot of patience and creativity to actually, solve problems in the tech field. So, in your career, what has motivated you to keep pushing through these sort of challenges?
The thing that motivated me the most is the impact behind the work that I'm doing. So when I face a tough challenge, whether it's like debugging a very stubborn piece of system or trying to understand a very complex data structure, I remind myself that solving it can improve the product and ultimately help real people. So that connection kind of keeps me going. I also genuinely enjoy the creative side of problem solving. So to me, every challenge feels like a puzzle. So even if the first few attempts don't work, each try teaches me something new and gets me closer towards the solution, which I think is very interesting and fun for me. Finally, I've learned that persistence pays off. So some of the projects I'm proudest of came after weeks of trial and error. And looking back, those challenges were the moments where I actually grew the most. So knowing that the growth comes from pushing through difficulties is a big source of motivation for me.
Yeah, it's great that your passion, your purpose, and your persistence have really helped you to get through these challenges in your career. So do you think that as a woman, that gives you any sort of different perspective or nuance in your role, um, in computer science or in product growth? And does that change your perspective in any way?
I would not like to aggregate all the people in just one sentence, but I think that women have a great strength in communication. And data science is all about communicating your results to the audience, to the product teams, to the execution teams. I think women have a great strength in communicating very softly and also in sometimes very strongly and smoothly to get the result actually being happen. So I guess we have a lot of strength in that sense. In computer science, I do think that still a lot of people are men. But in that case, I didn't really experience any downside of being a woman in computer science. So
I honestly think that's super impressive that, you haven't faced those downsides because we've heard from some people who really felt that it was difficult to navigate some of these tech environments, as especially being a woman. And I think that just shows how much progress we've made over the last few years. Um, so for young women who are aspiring to, pursue a role like you have in data science or in product management, what skills or experiences do you think are the most valuable that they should, pursue before they start building their careers?
I wish a lot of young professionals will gain the habit of being curious to questions and also being persistent because whatever field you select, either you graduate computer science and be a software engineer or become a data scientist like me, I think everyone needs that habit of being persistent and trying to learn more. Beyond that, I think hard skill wise, it will be dynamic based on which career you want to select. And these days, there are so many materials to learn those hard skills. It's more about the mindset and the consistency that you should kind of try to make through your younger career life so that you can be persistent when you're mid or senior level too.
Yeah, definitely. So, just for all the young girls out there who are planning to navigate these male-dominated environments, what advice would you share to these girls who are curious about data science or products?
Oh, I would like to give an advice. Don't be afraid of anything. There's nothing impossible. Everything is possible. You have great resources around you. Women are supporting women. So yeah, go for it, whatever you want.
Um, as a woman in technology, I think you've really shared a story that helps a lot of us um, envision our own careers and, look at how we might form a career and build one that's truly effective. So, what is your hope for the future of the technology field, especially for girls who are entering into it now?
When I see the upper generation, for example, those who are senior or above, I do see they are very male dominant. But when
Mm.
I see my age of groups, I see there's actually more women sometimes in tech. I think it's also because I was more close to the data side rather than the software engineering side. It may be different depending on fields, but I hope that this kind of like, I love your YouTube channel, this kind of support is always there. I wish people don't get afraid because it's a male heavy domain because it's getting better and the stereotypes or the distribution of people have been changing throughout years.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's so great that you have a good experience in the tech field and that the environment is just so much more inclusive now. So, thank you so much for answering all our questions. I'm just going to give a quick recap of what we've learned. We love how you started with how you combine data science and your product role, with the data science covering the what and the why aspect, and the product role covering the how to deliver this to your audience. And it was really great how you're able to translate all your insights into impact by combining these two fields together. Your capstone project about using AI for fall detection was really, really interesting. And it's great that you're able to maximize on saving time and cost for your clients. You spoke about how technology keeps evolving, but people really don't need to know everything because that would be impossible, right? You just have to take the leap and experiment, and that can take you a long way. And finally, you focused on how patience, persistence, and a sense of purpose in your field really helped you drive yourself throughout your career. And that's so great to hear. Thank you so much for all of your insights.
Thank you for having me.